Welcome to day 4, lesson 4 of Living a Triumphant Life. Hi, my name is Cheri. I'm an inner healing coach, an author, and a beautypreneur. And in today's lesson, we are going to talk about another chapter in my first published book, Beauty versus the Beast in Me, Mastering My Own Demons. And the title of this chapter is Every Tear I Cried. So, let me just get right into it. The more I dive into each chapter of my book, the harder it gets, because I have written this book a few years ago. It was published in 2019. And while writing the book, I was going through my own transformation. I was going through my own healing journey and just really purging. And so, it's like an outer body experience I've had just writing the book, from within, but it felt like I was an outsider, getting some insight about my own life and about my own experiences, if that makes sense. And so reading the book again, it really is an awakening for me. It really shows me how far I have grown, how I've elevated, how I've matured, and how I've overcome so much adversity. And so with each chapter, my desire for you is to open up your heart, your mind, open up, just your thought process and your emotions about where you are in your life. Take an assessment of where you are, what's in your life, what you're doing with your time, what you're doing with the experiences that you've had, and really begin to, emerge into your own healing journey so that you can create a happier, healthier you, and ultimately be the best version of yourself so that you can be everything that God created and called you to be, right? And so that you can navigate in this life in the spirit of excellence. So without delay, I'm just going to get right into it. Psalms 56:8, it says, "You keep track of all of my sorrows. You have collected all of my tears in your bottle. You have recorded each one in your book." And I'm going to get into the lesson now. I have written, have you ever felt like the tears you cried did not move God's heart towards you? Well, I felt that way more times than I can count. After my mom left, I would cry all the time. It was my first heartbreak. My feelings about my parents' separation were unbearable. It was overwhelming. It didn't help that at the time, my dad seemed emotionally disconnected, so I couldn't talk to him either. No one really asked how I felt or how their decisions and choices affected me. At times, I felt abandoned. Other times, I felt I wasn't good enough. Often, I felt unloved. I believed everyone just assumed that my rebelliousness came with age. However, I am fully aware, that it was created from traumatic experiences. Seeing my mother walk up the street and out of my sight while sitting on my steps was too much for me to bear, and sometimes too painful to even talk about. Once I became a mother, my relationship with my own mother was being restored, but I still had unanswered questions for both of my parents in order for me to heal and have closure. Why did this have to happen to me? Did anyone care about my life? Did my well-being matter? Although I was the youngest, my siblings were holding on to a lot of pain as well. Everyone manages their trauma differently. And so for me, I self-sabotaged in many ways. I got pregnant at an early age and ended up with an abortion at 15 years old. It humiliated me to have to tell my dad that I was having sex, let alone unexpected and pregnant. I never knew how to ask for what I needed from men because whenever I asked for something, I was always given the silent treatment, making it very difficult to ask at all. I didn't have the courage. So out of fear, I did everything I had to do to get the things that I needed. And then I'm going to skip on. I isolated myself and cut myself off from loved ones. Most of the times I stayed in my room just to avoid interaction with others. I never wanted my decisions and choices to hurt anyone, but I felt very disconnected from my own family. So I am going to share with you my life lesson from this chapter. I've learned that we are never forgotten, but that our tears, our hurts, our pains, our deep wounds, yes, they are being collected. They're being tracked and recorded by God. By this, we know that we are never alone in our time of sorrow. Releasing the sadness from your soul, it actually purifies and lightens your burdens. Crying out is a healing agent to cleanse the soul. Cry and let the pain go. And I want to share a prayer of agreement with you, if that's okay. So let us pray. Daddy God, thank you for remembering me in my sufferings, understanding my sorrows, and touching me with your unconditional love so that I can be made whole again. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And it is so. So this ends the third lesson of living a triumphant life. And this was a hard one for me. I actually skipped a lot of what I was reading because I want you to have the opportunity to really tap in and really understand what I've had to endure in my life. And it's just too much for me to discuss in this video. But I just wanted to share with you an overview of what my experiences were as I was writing this chapter of the book. And so just like every other chapter, I hope that this lesson had raised your awareness, had given you some insight about your own life, has given you some tools and some strategy and some empowerment for you to overcome and master your own demons in your life. Those things, those hidden things that you battle in secret that only you know about, you and God. So I hope that you can take these lessons and find a takeaway, find a way that you can implement this teaching into your life and begin to create a healthy daily practice for yourself. So I would like for you to drop it in the comments if you liked it, if you enjoyed it, what you've learned. And if you do, like, comment, and share, because maybe someone else that you know, that you're close to, that you have a connection with, may be experiencing some trauma that hasn't been healed, some unresolved issues from childhood and even adult experiences that needs to be reconciled. So until our next lesson, lesson 4, I hope that you are well. I hope that you stay in peace and not pieces. See you all and be well.